Okay, so we are using tonight the Celebrate Sunflowers stamp set. And like I said, this one will be available beginning June 3rd. And along with that, I have the matching die set. So I'm going to show you how we're going to use those. All right, so we're going to start with using the Stamparatus. Now, if you don't have this already, it's definitely something that I recommend that you get. The little ring there is just simply the ring light that I've got giving you more light, so it's only going to glare on certain things. So what I'm going to do, I've already got my sunflower in place here, my sunflower stamp. Because it's a cling stamp, it sticks really well to that plate. And I'm going to put a piece of paper just there in the corner. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure I've got the magnet on there so it is securely in place. All right, then we want to ink up the sunflower. Now this is a technique that I've showed before in another video, but I wanted you to see it one more time. Sometimes you have to see it a couple of times before you get it. At least I know I do. So I'm going to ink that up. And what I love about the Stamparatus is, especially with a large stamp like this, if it doesn't stamp completely, I can always go over it a second time. So I want this to be just a little bit darker. So I'm going to go over it one more time, just very lightly. There we go. And get that stamped down. Okay. And still I want a little bit more up through here. Okay. So if you don't want it that dark, you could always, do it just the first time, but I wanted it pretty dark. Okay, so I've got that done. So next what I would do is take this piece of paper, and here's the interesting thing. If you see this die, it's got all these little things. So you have to figure out exactly how to line it up. And it's taken me a few tries sometimes to get exactly. It's not the most impossible one, but I will tell you it's not super easy to line it up right away. And then if that die slips at all when you're running it through the machine, then you're going to have problems also. Then it's not going to do very well. So here's my little trick for this. So this first one, I'm going to run through the Big Shot machine or whatever die cutting machine you have. And then what I'm going to be left with after that is I will have my cutout from that and also my image. So I'm going to keep this negative space. Now I marked on here, there's a little, I just did a little pencil mark and put template and to put this down towards me. So I'm going to put that back in there. And then what I did was I just used that die again and just did some blank Whisper White paper like so. So what I can do is fit that into the template. So I know you really can't see that very well, but it's like fitting a puzzle piece. And then I'm going to stamp that. And what will happen is I don't have to worry about when I'm die cutting for that image to slip. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp that. And what you'll see is I can pull that out and I can use that over and over again. So I've showed this technique before, but we're going to need a bunch of these sunflowers. So this is a great way for us to get a bunch of these at one time. So just another fun use for your Stamparatus. And certainly one of the major ways that I use it is to do multiples of a stamp like that is a little more difficult to cut out precisely. So once you have your sunflowers cut out, you're going to need to color those. So there's certainly plenty of ways to color them. You could do markers, you could do ink pads, you could do a watercolor wash. I went ahead and used the Stampin' Blends, and I just played around with different color combinations with it. I did some that had just a little bit of red in those, so actually that's Cajun Craze, and I used a lot of the Mango Melody and Daffodil Delight blends on these. So that's one that I did. Let's see, let me find you another one here. Here's another one I did that's got a little bit less of the red. But again, you could do those any way you want. And then I also cut out some little ones and colored those. So you just want to do a bunch of these. You want to get quite a few cut because you're going to use these on the project today. So I've got all of those. And then I also cut out some little leaves. I've got quite a few over here that I can use. And some little branches. Just a lot of little goodies I can use on my card. Okay, so I'm going to scoot those aside because we are going to use those, but we need to do some paper cutting first. So next, I've got my paper trimmer. And again, if you don't have one of these paper trimmers, I highly recommend you get one. And I've just got a 8.5 by 11 Whisper White cardstock, and I'm just simply going to cut it in half. So I'm going to cut it at the 5.5 inch mark. And that's what I need. And then I need my ruler. So the dogs are being quiet, aren't they? And what I'm going to do is mark this at the 4.25 inch point in the middle. So I've just got a regular pencil, and you could use a pen even because we're going to cover up that mark. So once you have that mark there in the middle, you are going to start positioning your flowers on that. So I'm going to put this one here, and I may throw a couple other little ones in there, probably a couple of leaves here and there, but you're going to just figure out where you want those. Okay, so once I kind of have an idea of the design I want for that, I am going to use my multi-purpose adhesive. And the reason I'm using this is because I can usually manipulate these a little bit more if I use a wet glue. So we're going to just glue those on there. And it's okay if some of them hang off the page. That's fine. You're just really wanting to fill in that middle section of your card. All right, so just get some on there. Again, I'm just kind of laying those down lightly on there. I'm not really putting them firmly in place. And we'll keep doing that. I'm actually almost completely out of snail, so I'm going to be really excited when our new adhesives come out because I am running low. So I've been using this multi-purpose adhesive a lot on my projects. All right, I'm going to put that one on top there. I'm going to throw this one over here. And again, every single one of these I do looks completely different. So even the samples I show you, they're probably not going to look exactly like this, but you get the idea. So anytime I do like a floral card like this for someone, they usually do take me a little bit more time. So this is a great way that we're going to be able to get 2 cards for basically the time of one. All right, so once I've got that how I want, and I can add more leaves and anything else just to fill that in. Let's see, let's throw a leaf down here. Throw one here. And I have these little pieces like this also. I just cut these from Crumb Cake. I'm going to show you a little tip I use on those because it's really hard to get your glue perfect on those. But I'm going to just kind of put a glob of glue on my silicone craft sheet. And I've got one of my Stampin' Sponges, and I'm just going to pick that up and just sponge glue on the back of that. And that allows me to do that pretty easily. So I'm just going to throw one in there like so. But again, you can put these wherever you like. And these silicone craft sheets, you just clean them up afterwards and, you know, they're good to go again. Let's pull this guy up. Just throw him in there. Okay. All right. Everybody good? Pretty good idea of what we've got there, right? Okay. So I'm going to just show you close up. That's what that looks like. And again, I am going to be sending all of the cards I'm showing tonight to one lucky person. So if you share this video, make sure you comment shared once you've shared it. So, all right. So this piece of paper is 5.5 by 8.5. We're going to cut it at 8.25. We're going to cut right through this middle here. So I'm going to line this up at 4.25. And I will draw the name for that on Monday. So make it a good holiday. And I'm going to run this back and forth just a couple of times because it's got a couple of layers to go through. And let's see if that did it. Almost. Sometimes I actually do have to use my scissors, so I'll have to use those a little bit there, just because it's a little more layers than what my paper trimmer is used to going through. All right, so now we have 2 different card layers, just like so. Okay, so the next step is just to add those to a card. So I'm going to show you the Celebrate Sunflowers card that I've already completed. And I generally do cut these down a little bit more. So I generally will cut them down to about 4 inches by 5.25 and then put them on a card front. Anything that's hanging off, just go ahead and trim that off. And then again, just trim it down to whatever you want to so you can put it on a card base. All right, so for the finished cards, I'm going to show you what I did there. Okay, so I got 2 cards out of 1 piece of paper. All right, and so those greetings are from that same stamp set, I believe. Don't see it here. Okay, and I added a few of the gilded gems to that as well. So yes, those are from that stamp set. So this is one you're definitely going to want to put on your wish list once June 3rd runs around. Okay, so I did some with a few other stamp sets that you may already have. I tried to pick some of the stamp sets that have been very popular with my customers because I wanted you to have something that you could do this weekend. So we've got those. I'm going to go ahead and set them aside. And I know a lot of people at the beginning of this catalog year purchased the Magnolia set. So these are ones that I did with that. Same exact process. Okay, and on that one I really just cut 2 of the large magnolias and I added 1 extra one here afterwards. Okay, and then another favorite stamp set of mine is called To a Wild Rose. I've done a lot of videos with this stamp set, but this is really fun and pretty. I used Flirty Flamingo and Melon Mambo and Granny Apple Green on those. Okay, so there's that one. And then my favorite, my hands down favorite on this, I absolutely love this set of cards. I mean, once I made them, I was like, it's gonna be hard to part with these. Who got the poppies? Because I bet a lot of people bought the Peaceful Poppies. Here is my Peaceful Poppies cards, and I love them. This I didn't really do with any stamps. I did these with just the die cuts. So you don't even have to use stamps on these. You could use your die cuts, but any large floral image is going to work really well. Okay, so there is that set of cards. So again, tonight we did 8 cards, twice what we normally do on Friday nights. So I hope you enjoy those. I will be doing a blog post on these on Monday. So if you missed anything or you want a closer look at what I did, that will be on my blog for the Monday Montage blog hop. So be sure to watch that. So thank you so much for watching. I wasn't able to catch a lot of the comments, so if there were any questions, I will go back and answer those. But have a very safe and wonderful Memorial Day weekend, and I will see you soon.